Raider Nation, 1-0. Let's get into it. What is up, Raider Nation? CT from Real Men Are Raiders, and we're going to talk about that win that we got in Foxborough, New England last week. We're also going to talk about that Chargers game coming up on Monday Night Football. But first, I just want to thank the whole nation. You guys have crushed my hype video that I posted a few weeks ago before the season started. And it may not sound a lot like some of you guys, but got over 5,000 views, over 100 likes, and it brought almost 50 subscribers to my channel. So if you are one of those new subscribers, I appreciate you. I want to keep putting out good content, original content for the whole nation. So just wanted to get that out the way. Thank you guys a lot. I appreciate it, So let's get into that Patriots game. I love the way that game started out. I think it started out exactly how all of us wanted it to and how all of us kind of pictured it. But once that interception happened, and I think the interception was the right read. It was the right player to go to. It was just a good play by the defender. But before that interception happened, man, Geno was out there throwing the ball, being accurate in not really, good conditions. Ashton Jency looked really good running the ball early on, but as the game started to go, that offensive line really struggled. Jackson Powers Johnson gave up a really bad sack to Geno Smith early in the game, and it just seemed like after that interception, the whole momentum shifted. But before that, like, Geno was distributing the ball. He even got one to Jack Besh. Everybody was getting involved. Thornton got a little first down pass. Bowers was doing what he had to do, and Bowers looks like Bowers. People know that he's our main weapon, and they still can't stop him. So I think Bowers is going to continue to be Bowers. He's only going to get better. He's a great tight end, practically a wide receiver. So it's going to be hard for teams to continue to scheme against us because we got Thornton. He's showing that he's going to be a good player in the future, in my opinion, and I really hope he turns out to be, the player that I think he's going to turn out to be. With that size, that speed, the length, he can be a really, really good football player if he puts his mind to it and he works on all his his route running and just his get off and everything like that, catching, just everything all together. He can really be a dominant player if he chooses to take that extra step, put in the work, and in like 2-3 years, he's gonna be that guy for us. So super happy about him. Like I said, Gino he was moving the ball around and it looked good. It looked good that he was getting everybody involved. The defense didn't really know who they were gonna go to. Once Bowers got hurt, I think it was the right call not putting him back in because the field condition was bad. It's the first game of the season. At the time, the game wasn't locked down, but it was already in that second half, and that's when the momentum started to pick up. Whatever they talked about, that second half adjustment talk in the locker room, they came out, and both offense and defense did not give up the whole second half. And I love to see that. I love to see it. We were giving the defense flack, and the defense ended up, holding them to really low scoring points, and they got an interception, got a turnover, got some sacks. They really showed that they could run out there with them, that they could stick with them. The some of the sacks that came in, I think, were even more like coverage sacks. So it was the coverage. I think it was a lot of the coverage and the defensive line working together. Seeing Tyree right there in the middle, um, getting to the quarterback quick. There was a couple plays where he almost got him, and May just barely got that ball off. So I liked what I saw, especially in that second half. The whole team didn't give up, and they really started to gel and look like things were coming together. And like I said, Gino, for him to be as accurate as he was, distributing the ball the way he did in those kind of conditions, in that weather, when the run wasn't there, it was just great. It was great to see him roll out. It was great to see him work off the play action. Like I said, I hope the offensive line really starts to gel and get a little bit better. Um, speaking about when Bowers went down, for Michael Mayer to come in and him have all the time that he had off last year for whatever reason he did, it was personal issues. For him to come back and just look like he hasn't missed a step at all is just so great to see. Like he really stepped up when Bowers went out, and he came through on that 4th and 1. He really showed that he can be another weapon out there, even with Bowers. So super happy to see that. Like I said, the defense looked good. The corners, held their own. Devin White was out there playing, real hard hitting football. Love to see that. And just everything all around in that second half. In that second half, I really like it. I mean, you saw uh, Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham down there just, having a good time. Both defensive guys. He said that Pete's helping out on the defensive scheme. So that's great to see. That's so good to see. And maybe it was the right move moving Patrick Graham back down to the field. But, talking about that Chargers game coming up, both teams are 1-0, and I honestly think this is going to be a preview for, the division championship, cuz I don't think I don't think the Broncos are going to do it this year. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be that same guy that he was. And Kansas City, I think they got exposed in the Super Bowl. Philly really showed what you got to do and gave the rest of the league a blueprint of how to beat Mahomes and Andy Reid. So I think a lot of teams kind of got the blueprint for what they need to do for them, and it's not going to be so easy for them no more. Especially they got a couple people out right now. Travis Kelsey doesn't look like himself. He's lost a step or two. He don't have the same speed he does. So I really think this is a year that Kansas City doesn't do it, and you can't be on top forever. But seeing what we have right now in Geno and the type of play he's gonna bring, once the offensive line gets better, once this whole team starts to build that chemistry and start to gel, I think it's just going to be a matter of time. And like I predicted earlier in the season, I don't see why we can't win 10 games. And one thing I'm really worried about is on our schedule is we have a lot of we're accumulating a lot of frequent flyer miles this season. We're going from one place back to Vegas, flying out again, back to Vegas, flying out again, back to Vegas. Like it's gonna be a long season on these guys, and there's gonna be a lot of travel involved in this season. So I really hope everybody stays healthy. Like I said, the Chargers, they got Mike Williams, they got Keenan Allen, two big guys. Our corners are really gonna have to step it up and really show why Pete Carroll likes them. They got the size, they got the length, they got the speed. Now they just need to put it on the field and stick with these guys like they did in that last game. Because like I said, there was a couple sacks that you got to give credit to the coverage because there was just nowhere to go. There was nowhere for May to throw the ball, and the pocket collapsed, and we got to him. So love to see that, especially from everything that the secondary and everything got this offseason. A lot of money and a lot of moving parts not really put into the defense. So really good to see. I'm excited for it. Monday Night Football, prime time. All eyes on the Raiders. Home opener. We're in Vegas, and both teams are 1-0. Both teams are 1-0. Someone has to lose, and I could see the Raiders winning this game. I could see the Raiders winning this game. We really got to stop the run. We gotta stop Najee Harris. We gotta put pressure on Herbert, and we really gotta stick to the coverage with with um, Keenan Allen's and Mike Williams. So I'm excited for it. Getting back in Vegas, we're 1-0. It feels good. There's something different. It feels like the Raiders are back. It feels like the Raiders are back. Raiders football is back, and from top to bottom, I just love everything that happened this offseason to see it put onto the field and starting to work. So thank you once again, Raider Nation. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like, drop a comment. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Who's gonna win the game? Do you think this could be a preview of the division championship? Let me know down below your comments. Once again, CT from Real Men Are Raiders. Keep doing what you love and love what you do, nation. I'm out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.